Welcome back, everyone, to another electrifying episode of Parasite Patrol. Today, we're diving headfirst into the mind-boggling world of creepy crawlies and the peculiar illnesses they bring along. Buckle up, because we're focusing on a serious contender: leishmaniasis. This isn't just a fleeting issue. It's been gnawing at humanity for thousands, yes, thousands of years.
Whoa! Thousands of years? That's kind of wild. But what's the deal with leishmaniasis? Like, I've heard of it, but what does it actually do to people? Is it just, like, itchy or something?
Fantastic question. Leishmaniasis comes in two main flavors. The first is cutaneous leishmaniasis, which is a real nightmare for your skin. It unleashes painful ulcers that can take ages to heal, often leaving permanent scars. Imagine living your daily life with those reminders. It's like life's little cruel joke.
Ugh, that's gotta be painful. Like, living with these scars would be such a heavy burden, huh? And, what about the other type of leishmaniasis? Does it just, like, mess with your skin or what?
Glad you asked. The second type, visceral leishmaniasis, is a real punch to the gut. It's commonly known as Kala Azar, and it attacks your internal organs. Without proper treatment, it can actually be fatal. We're talking about serious physical pain, emotional upheaval, and a long list of health complications.
Whoa, that sounds incredibly intense. So are there actual treatments for this? I mean, with such devastating effects, I can only hope there's something that can help.
Here's the kicker. While we do have treatments, many of them are toxic, expensive, and, get this, often unavailable to those who need them most. Picture a community already grappling with poverty, then toss in a disease like this. It's like a double whammy from life.
Totally! It's like being in a bad movie plot where everything goes wrong. So you mentioned that leishmaniasis can hang around even when people are treated? What's up with that?
Absolutely. This brings us to the concept of environmental persistence. It's crucial to understand if leishmaniasis can survive outside human hosts after treatments. If this parasite sticks around, it complicates eradication efforts immensely.
So basically, it can just chill out in the environment, waiting for its next victim? That's kind of creepy.
Precisely. Leishmaniasis is quite the survivalist. The parasite can perch in female sandflies that are tiny yet deadly. And, believe it or not, dogs also play a huge role in this saga. In some regions, up to 30% of dogs can be asymptomatic carriers. It's astonishing.
Oh wow, dogs as disease carriers? That's like finding out your cute pet is actually a secret agent for disease spread. Does that mean we could be surrounded by it without even knowing?
Exactly. Dogs serve as reservoirs for the disease, facilitating its spread. But that's not all. Rodents, foxes, and wild monkeys can also harbor the parasite. Just imagine a scenario where a village treats all the humans. But if even one sandfly bites an infected animal, guess what? The disease can spring back to life.
Yikes. That's terrifying. It's like a game of hide and seek, except instead of candy, you're finding a lurking disease. So, the chances of eradicating it are pretty slim, right?
You've nailed it. Its ability to persist in various hosts creates a formidable challenge for eradication. This is just the tip of the iceberg in understanding why tackling leishmaniasis is so complicated. And there's so much more we'll unravel today.
Wow. I'm on the edge of my seat here. This is like a real-life horror adventure, but with science. Let's keep going.
Welcome back, listeners. Today, we're going on an adventure into the intriguing world of leishmaniasis, a disease that holds more surprises than a box of chocolates. This infection comes in 3 distinct flavors: cutaneous, mucocutaneous, and visceral, each with its own dramatic story to tell, much like 3 different routes in a winding forest.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack. So, what exactly does cutaneous leishmaniasis look like? Like, is it something you'd immediately notice?
Great question. Cutaneous leishmaniasis is the most frequent form, often starting as a small bump where a sandfly has taken a bite. Imagine a tiny volcano erupting on your skin. This bump eventually turns into a painless ulcer, which can linger for weeks or even months. While it's not typically life-threatening, the resulting scars can leave a mark, quite literally, like a warrior showcasing their battle stories.
Scars. Yikes. So, can someone have multiple bumps at the same time? Like a whole army of bumps? Laughs.
Absolutely, it's totally possible to have multiple lesions, especially if you've faced a reinfection or your immune system is on a bit of a vacation. It's similar to catching a cold. One doesn't just get one when they're already feeling run down.
Right, that sounds super intense. How does mucocutaneous leishmaniasis fit into this picture? Is it as bad as it sounds?
It's definitely more severe. Mucocutaneous leishmaniasis starts like its brother cutaneous, but the drama intensifies as it can spread to your nose and mouth's delicate tissues. Picture a horror movie where not only your skin is affected, but also your ability to eat or breathe. It can emerge months or even years after the initial skin lesion.
Oh my goodness, that sounds horrifying. So, is there usually a skin lesion before this nightmare begins?
Generally, yes. A previous skin lesion tends to precede mucocutaneous leishmaniasis. Sometimes, though, that initial bump could have healed by the time you face the mucosal symptoms, making it feel like you're unraveling a mystery with missing pieces.
Mysteries are always intriguing. But I've heard about this super serious form called Kala-Azar. What's the scoop on that?
You're absolutely right. Kala-Azar is the heavyweight champion of leishmaniasis. It affects your internal organs, such as the spleen and liver, and comes with a laundry list of alarming symptoms: prolonged fever, significant weight loss, fatigue, anemia. Imagine your body just waving the white flag. It's critical to catch this form early.
Whoa, that's really alarming. But, is Kala-Azar something we see often?
It's less common than cutaneous leishmaniasis, but carries much more weight in terms of danger, often striking vulnerable groups like children or those with weakened immune systems. This is why diagnosing it early is so essential. Think of it this way: it's like fixing a leaky faucet before it turns your home into a swimming pool.
Oh, absolutely. That makes total sense. So it's really about tackling problems before they spiral out of control, huh? Man, that is so relatable.
Exactly. The earlier we recognize the symptoms of leishmaniasis, the better equipped we are to provide effective treatment and avoid long-term complications. A classic case of an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Wow, I love that saying. It's like a life mantra, right? Always be one step ahead.
All right, listeners, welcome back to another episode where we dive deep into some fascinating yet often overlooked health topics. Today, we're tackling a bit of a covert villain in the health world: leishmaniasis. Now, this isn't just another disease. It's like a stealthy ninja transmitted through these little sandflies. And they're not just your average flies. Picture this. Female sandflies are the culprits, buzzing around in tropical and subtropical regions, picking up this parasite from infected animals or humans. It's honestly wild when you think about it.
Wow. So these tiny flies are essentially the vectors? That's kind of freaky. I mean, like, do they have a higher chance of biting people in certain areas?
Absolutely. These sandflies thrive in organic matter, such as leaf litter and rodent burrows. This makes it incredibly tricky to control them. So, when they bite, They're injecting Leishmania right into our bloodstream. It's like a scene straight out of a horror movie, isn't it? Just imagine this parasite invading your immune cells and multiplying, creating its own little army.
Okay, hold on. Whoa, that's kinda intense. I mean, if these sandflies are so stealthy, how do people even notice they're getting bitten? Like, do they just wake up one day and find out they've got leishmaniasis or something?
Great question. People might not even feel the bite at first, but the effects can manifest later. Skin lesions, fever, fatigue. Imagine going on a tropical vacation thinking you just got a sunburn, but it's actually something way more serious. And the presence of animal reservoirs, like domestic dogs and wild mammals, complicates things. They can carry the parasite without showing symptoms, making it harder for us to trap this sneaky disease.
Oh, wow. So it's like having a friend that looks perfectly fine but is actually harboring a secret, huh? That's wild. So, is that why it's so hard to get rid of it?
Exactly. The sandflies feed on infected hosts, and the parasites just keep circulating. It's like a never-ending party for the parasite. Plus, there are these alternative pathways for transmission: blood transfusions, needle sharing, even mother-to-child transmission. It really highlights how vital it is to screen for this parasite in healthcare settings.
Whoa, that's super important. But are there really any preventative measures people can take to avoid this? I mean, I'm imagining a whole army of sandflies now.
Chuckles. A sandfly army. Now that's a sight. To mitigate the spread of leishmaniasis, public health strategies come into play, like using insecticide-treated bed nets and indoor spraying. There are also programs that target infected domestic dogs to break the cycle of transmission. It's crucial for at-risk populations to be informed. Education can be just as powerful as any medication.
Oh man, that's really encouraging. So there's hope against the sandfly ninjas. But what about the environmental factors? You mentioned climate change and stuff earlier. How does that really play into all of this?
Great observation. Environmental factors like deforestation and poor sanitation lead to increased human sandfly encounters. For instance, when people move into newly deforested areas, it creates new habitats for sandflies, making them closer to humans than before. It's like moving into a haunted house where the ghosts are already living. And then you wonder why you keep seeing apparitions.
Laughs. That's a great analogy. So like, we're ultimately making it easier for these parasites to thrive? It feels like we're opening the door for them.
Exactly. Understanding the transmission dynamics of leishmaniasis is essential for developing effective prevention and control strategies. By focusing on vector management, early diagnosis, and community education, we can aim to reduce the disease's burden. It's about empowering communities to fight back against these hidden threats.
Wow, this has been seriously enlightening. It's crazy how much we need to be aware of, but it's awesome that there's a plan in place to tackle this disease. Thanks for breaking it down.
My pleasure. It's all about spreading awareness and knowledge. The more we understand these hidden health challenges, the better equipped we are to face them.
Absolutely. I feel like I'm ready to take on those sandfly ninjas now. Thank you for this amazing insight.
Welcome back to Science in Conversation. I'm Emily, and today we're diving into a truly fascinating yet often overlooked topic: leishmaniasis. This parasitic disease doesn't get nearly enough attention, so we're here to unveil its mysteries and explore how the global community is combating it for the long haul.
And I'm Michael. This sounds super intriguing. What exactly is leishmaniasis, though? Like, I've never heard of it. Is it as scary as it sounds?
Absolutely. It's significant. Leishmaniasis is caused by parasites from the Leishmania genus, and it spreads through the bite of infected sandflies. There are three main forms we need to be aware of: cutaneous, mucocutaneous, and visceral leishmaniasis. The last one is particularly dangerous and can even be fatal without proper treatment.
Wow, that sounds really serious. So, what does treatment look like for these different forms? Like, I can imagine it might be complicated.
Great observation. In terms of treatment, traditional drugs like pentavalent antimonials are commonly used. However, there's growing concern about resistance, particularly in areas like Bihar, India. It's like battling a stubborn weed that keeps creeping back no matter how many times you try to get rid of it.
That sounds so frustrating. So, what are the other options available? It's not like we can just let this slide, right? Laughs.
Exactly. Newer alternatives like miltefosine and liposomal amphotericin B are gaining traction, with the latter being particularly effective, as it usually requires fewer doses and has better safety profiles. The catch? It's expensive and needs refrigeration, which can be a real hurdle in remote areas.
So it sounds like accessibility is crucial, especially in developing regions. What about miltefosine? How does it stack up against other treatments?
Good point. Miltefosine is oral, which is more convenient for patients. But there's a big but: concerns about relapse and potential resistance if used alone. It's a bit like starting a workout regime and not following through. You might see some results, but without consistency, those gains can fade away.
Right, I get that. So, aside from treatment, is vector control where it's at? Like, what's that entailing exactly?
Yes, vector control is key and focuses on managing the sandfly population. Techniques like insecticide spraying have worked in some parts of the Indian subcontinent. But as resistance builds, we see diminishing returns. It's much like washing your car too much. Eventually, you might chip the paint off, so it's all about balance.
Oh wow, that's a great analogy. So what about the environment? Do environmental factors play a role in this too?
Definitely. Environmental interventions are crucial. Improving housing and solid waste management can greatly reduce sandfly breeding sites. For lasting success, we need robust community involvement and sustainable policies. Sort of like how a green lifestyle requires consistent effort, rather than just a trend that fades.
Kind of like New Year's resolutions that people throw away by February? Am I getting this right? Laughs.
Exactly. And we can't forget about surveillance and case detection. Countries like Nepal and Bangladesh have made notable strides in controlling visceral leishmaniasis through ongoing surveillance programs.
That's amazing. So, how does funding play into all of this? I bet that must be a major factor, right?
Spot on. Early detection and effective treatment help minimize suffering and transmission. Consistent funding and a sturdy health infrastructure are essential for long-term efficacy. Think of it like watering a plant. Skip just a few days and it will start wilting.
Right. So what about vaccines? Are there any in the pipeline for leishmaniasis?
Vaccines are the ultimate holy grail. Unfortunately, there isn't a fully approved vaccine for humans yet, but some are in late-stage trials. Ultimately, long-term control depends on integrating drugs, vector management, and ongoing surveillance.
Wow, it's like a multifaceted approach. So how do we deal with setbacks in progress, like political issues?
Fantastic question, Michael. Regional elimination efforts can be effective, as seen with the Kala Azar elimination program in South Asia. Over 2 decades, they have drastically slashed cases through a combination of treatment, vector control, and surveillance. Yet challenges arise with drops in political will or funding. Just a small backslide can trigger a resurgence.
That makes total sense. You've really got to keep that momentum going. So, to wrap this all up, would you say current interventions are effective?
Absolutely. Especially when interventions are well integrated and sustained over time. Long-term success depends not only on medications or insecticides, but also on building strong systems and commitments from both communities and governments.
Well said, Emily. What an informative discussion. Laughs. That's all for today's episode, folks. Don't forget to follow us for more exciting science stories from around the world.